What is up everyone, Movie Worm back again with another top 10 video, and today is going to be my top 10 most anticipated films of 2023. 2022 is coming to a close and it's been a great year for movies, I feel. I think it started off a little bit rocky, but it's definitely picked up in the second half of the year with some absolutely brilliant movies. Now, there's a lot to like going into 2023 by the look of things, and I'm hoping that it's as good as year 2022 and 2021. They've both been great years, I feel, into the new decade. So let's hope that all carries on. Now, I just want to let you guys know that I'm just going with movies here that have sort of been given a release date or that are on the radar. Because some movies do come along throughout the year, like 13 Lives or All Quiet on the Western Front, that I had no idea were coming out at the start of 2022. And them two films, which are just two examples, have actually ended up in my top 10 movies of the year. So I'm not saying these films are going to be the best at anything, but I'm just going by what has been given a slate of releases so far and what we can look forward to. But like I said, films might just come along in 2023 out of nowhere and end up being amazing. So I'm just going, it's kind of a guessing game really. Now, there was a lot of films I'm looking forward to next year, so I do have some honourable mentions before we get to the top 10. So let's just get into them. For the honourable mentions, we do have Ghostbusters 4, which I think is meant to be coming out in December, which is obviously going to carry on after the events of Ghostbusters Afterlife with our new characters, and it's going to take place in New York again, it seems. Looking forward to that, all on board with it. The Last Train to New York, which is a remake of Train to Busan, I believe, Hollywood's interpretation of it. It would be absolutely amazing to get that on the same level as Train to Busan, but that is a big ask. We also got Saw X, which I believe is a prequel to the franchise. I'm hoping they can pick it back up. There's been a few lackluster films, but I definitely love the first two and part 6, so hopefully it's going to be in the same vein as them for enjoyment. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which is an animated film. And I'm hoping they can do something like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with the animation and the storytelling there to make this a solid animated film. Cocaine Bear is another one that everyone seems to be looking forward to. A grizzly bear eating some cocaine there and just going on a crazed rampage, going after people. I think that's something everyone wants to see. Weirdly based on a true story as well, and Ray Liotta's last performance, it seems. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, definitely my most hyped Marvel film of the year. I love all these characters. I love the first two films, so I'm definitely up for another adventure with those. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I was a big fan of Temple of Doom, especially back in the day, but the Indiana Jones franchise in general, so I'm very interested to see what this installment will do. I do think it'll be Harrison Ford's last journey, though, as Indiana Jones. And we also have M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin, which looks very, very interesting from the trailers, starring Dave Bautista. I don't know which way that movie's going to go, but I will watch anything M. Night Shyamalan makes. So let's just get into it now with number 10. Don't forget, guys, leave your top 10 anticipated movies of 2023 down below. I'll try and get back to you all, I promise. Here goes. Number 10 is going to be Megan, which is one of the very early releases we are getting this year. I think this is coming out in January, and this looks like a new killer doll movie that could take the mantle that Chucky has held for all these years now. Megan looks like an awesome design, a very sinister looking doll. And after the series 2 of Chucky, which everyone thought was a bit of a joke and was really, really disappointed in, I don't know where that franchise is going to go next, so maybe we need a new antagonist to get behind in the killer doll form. And I really like the look of this one because Megan looks like it's got a bit of a contortionist thing going on about the doll, and I am willing to bet there's going to be some very gruesome and violent killers in there. It just looks like a lot of fun. I'm a horror hound, I love slashers, and I'm hoping this one can go down that route like all those Chucky movies have given us over the years. So really interested to see where this one goes. It could be terrible, but I have high hopes for it as a horror fan. So number 10 is Megan. Number 9 is going to be another horror movie, and this is actually David Gordon Green's The Exorcist. Now, I wasn't too interested in this movie. I was more intrigued as to see where he's gonna go with it, but my excitement level wasn't too much. However, after reading up on this, I didn't actually realise that this is a legacy sequel with Ellen Burstyn coming back, and it's about this father whose child is suffering from being possessed by a demon, and he seeks out the help of Ellen Burstyn's character because, of course, her daughter, played by Linda Blair Reagan in the first movie, was possessed, so he's going to seek help from her. So it looks like it's going to be set in the same world. It's not a remake, it's a legacy sequel, and that definitely has me more interested because I think there's going to be a lot of throwbacks to the original film. We're going to hear about what actually happened to Reagan, I suppose. And Linda Blair, will she even make an appearance in this movie? She is not actually credited as of yet, but I think there could be a surprise there in the end. Who knows? I don't know if this is meant to be a trilogy. That was a rumour I heard. I don't know if that's going to pan out, but David Gordon Green has already done this with the Halloween franchise, a big horror franchise to take on. So I can see why it would actually be a trilogy. If the first film's successful, he's going to do it, isn't he? But I hope he can capture the terrifying aspects of the 1973 movie and leave the comedy out, David, because there was a way too much of that in Halloween 2018, I feel, and none of it landed. Just keep it, the horror element in there, because that's what The Exorcist is all about. We don't need horror and comedy in everything these days. Just stick to pure horror. But I'm very excited to see this storyline, where it's going to go, and who knows, maybe this could be a big hit for horror in 2023. Number 9 is The Exorcist. Number 8 is going to be Mario Brothers. Now, I have played Mario all my life. Like Sonic, I was kind of hyped for them films when they were coming out a couple of years ago and last year. So my excitement level for Mario is kind of the same, because I remember I bought a Super Nintendo when I was about 7 or 8 years old with Mario All-Stars, and I've been playing Mario games ever since. So it's only natural to me, with all the nostalgia I have, to be excited for this game. I still play Mario today. I've got the latest one, Mario Odyssey and stuff. And speaking of that, I think it's good that they have put the character designs here just a little bit slightly different. So this beautiful animated film isn't just going to look like a Mario Odyssey cutscene. I do think they've tweaked the characters just a little bit there to differentiate from the games. If you look at Mario, he's just got that slight little edge that he has in the games, in the movie. It's just slightly different there, so it's going to keep it apart, I feel. And I also like some of the other Mario games that look like they're going to be brought into this. For example, there is a poster of Luigi, and it looks like it's a Luigi's Mansion type poster for the movie. So are they going to bring Luigi's Mansion aspects into it, where he's ghost hunting? And at the end of the trailer, we also see some Mario Kart in there, so they're going to bring Mario Kart into it. I just think it's got all the hallmarks to be a very fun animated film. And we also have a great cast on board. I know a lot of people might have reservations about Chris Pratt. From what I'm seeing of the trailer, I think he's got the voice pretty spot on. We've also got Jack Black in there as Bowser, and Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, of course. So great cast on board. Animation looks great. They're probably going to do that simple story that always works for Mario, but I'm really, really excited for this. It's a Mario movie. It's got to be on this list at number 8. Number 7 is going to be Beau is Afraid. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This was actually titled Disappointment Boulevard at first, but the name has now changed. Now, this is the 3rd film by director Ari Aster, who for me, personally, has just made 2 of the best horror bangers in the last 10 years. Midsommar and Hereditary were absolute solid horror movies for me. The 2 best horrors of the past few years, definitely. And I know a lot of people did not love Midsommar, but for me, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I can't still decide which one I think is better out of the 2 movies, in all honesty. But there isn't too much information about this film. All I know is that Ari Aster, one of the best directors working today, in my opinion, is teaming up with an absolute elite actor in Joaquin Phoenix, who's playing one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. And it's a little bit of a horror comedy, and it follows the life of this Joaquin Phoenix's character, who's this entrepreneur, and there's horror comedy in there. That's all I know, and it's spanning over some years, but it's enough to put me excited on there just because it's Ari Aster. I am very, very highly anticipating anything he makes. And the fact that he's teamed up with A24 again and Joaquin Phoenix, who I said is an elite actor, is enough for me to get it on this list. So number 7 is Beau is Afraid. Number 6 is going to be Scream 6. Now, I don't think there's been a bad movie in this franchise, in all honesty. I know that's the popular thing to say about the Scream movies, but there hasn't. Even Scream 3, which is definitely the worst, is still a very enjoyable slasher flick, and they carried it on with Scream 5 last year. So, well, at the time of the recording, it is still this year, 2022. So, it made sense for them to make another Scream film after the success of that one. I just hope they haven't rushed the script, because this is definitely I think it's the smallest time frame where 2 Scream movies have come out. But because if you remember, like, part 3 and 4 were very, very far apart. So let's just hope they haven't rushed the script there. But the fact that it's taking place in New York and not Woodsboro really does intrigue me. I think it makes sense to get out of there and go somewhere else. And the teaser trailer we got really did look good. I mean, it's Ghostface wading in and out of the crowd on this train. And New York, as we know, is a very populated city. So I suppose he can maneuver in the crowd and stuff, and that will be to his advantage in this film. And we've got the old characters in there from this movie, Melissa Barrera, from the 2022 film, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, 2 of those characters, of course, who were great in that film. And I'm looking forward to seeing these characters move the franchise on. I will maybe miss Neve Campbell. I mean, she's never really been a big character for me in these films. I know a lot of people love Sidney Prescott. I think she's fine. She's fine, but I much prefer Gail Weathers and Dewey and stuff. So that will have to remain to be seen if Neve Campbell will be missed. I'm not going to get into what's gone on and stuff like that, but I think these new characters were enjoyable enough to get behind in these new movies. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love a whodunit film where you've got to guess who the killer is, and especially when it's a slasher movie like Scream. So really, really hyped for this. This is one I'll be there on day 1. I'm reviewing on the channel for sure. I've reviewed all the other ones on the channel. So Scream 6 definitely has to be on this list. Number 5 is going to be Oppenheimer. Now, if Christopher Nolan is making a movie, it's very, very likely that it's going to end up on my top 10 most anticipated of the year list, because the man is just an absolute genius behind the camera. A lot of his movies, nearly all of them, are just absolute masterpieces. And he just knows how to direct a film. And this one, for me, sounds very, very interesting. This is taken the real-life portrayal of Robert Oppenheimer, who is the father of the atomic bomb. So he already sounds like a very interesting and sinister character at the same time. I'm very interested to see what Cillian Murphy will bring to this role. He's a wonderful actor, and I'm glad he's the lead here. It seems like it's been a while since I've seen him in something big. I know he's done Peaky Blinders and stuff, but I'm very happy to see him at the head of a Christopher Nolan epic. And we've also got a stacked cast in there as well, including Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, Matt Damon. What more could you want? I mean, Christopher Nolan always has great casts anyway, but apparently Christopher Nolan has recreated the detonation of an atomic bomb here, the first atomic bomb, to film without CGI, and he's filmed it all, and it's going to be in the movie. It's going to be this big action spectacle, so I am very excited to see that on screen. I must have went through a lot of laws and a lot of governors to get that to happen, surely. But very excited for the new Christopher Nolan film, and the fact that it's going to be a real-life portrayal of someone maybe makes me think it's going to be a little bit more streamlined than the likes of Inception or Tenet. So I think Nolan needs to do something like that, because Tenet, as good as it was, did mess with my head a little bit, and I can just go into this one and just see this biopic really. But Oppenheimer, I think this is going to be on a lot of people's lists, and I can't wait. That is number 5. Number 4 is going to be Evil Dead Rise. Now, I recently rewatched the entire Evil Dead franchise, and I loved it a lot more this time than I ever did. I had so much fun with it, and this made Evil Dead Rise jump up a hell of a lot of places for my most anticipated of 2023. And the fact that this is all going to take place in LA, in a skyscraper with all these demons running around because they find the book in the skyscraper, has me very, very excited. We're coming away from the cabin feel there, which all these movies have done, apart from Army of Darkness, really. And I just think that's what this franchise needs. I really hope... I don't think they're connected to any of the other films. I think this is a reboot, but I hope they take a few notes from the Evil Dead 2013, the remake, because that really showed how to do a modern Evil Dead movie, and I hope they take, especially some of the violence and kills, out of that film and try and implement them here. But there isn't too much info about this film apart from the storyline and stuff. I'm not really familiar with a lot of the actors or the director, but I'm just hoping that this is going to be a good one. It could be another great year for horror with this, Megan, The Exorcist, and a lot of other films that are probably going to be announced. But yeah, this is one of the best, most looking forward to horrors of the year for me, easily. So I'll be there in March when it comes out and reviewing it on the channel. And I'm going to be doing an Evil Dead franchise review series leading up to that, so look out for that as well. But number 4 is the Evil Dead Rise. Number 3 is going to be The Killers of the Flower Moon, and this seemingly takes place in the 1920s, where a bunch of oil-wealthy people are killed and a bunch of crimes are committed, and it's known as the Reign of Terror. Now that just sounds fucking dark, man, but when you've got Martin Scorsese in the director's chair directing this dark-sounding drama, I'm listening. I love these types of movies, but the fact that they've got one of my top 3 directors ever of all time directing this, it just had to be on this list, and it had to be high. We've also got a brilliantly stacked cast in here as well. Another movie this year with a big director and a big cast with Leonardo DiCaprio. We've got Jesse Plemons in there, I believe, Robert De Niro, Brandon Fraser, who's making a bit of a comeback now, so I'm very, very excited for this. I loved The Irishman. A lot of people said that was too long or whatever. I just don't agree with that or agree with them comments at all. I love The Irishman. Martin Scorsese is a very consistent director who knows how to portray a story on screen. He moves scenes very, very fast, but it all just comes together to like ingredients making a brilliant meal by the end of it. I mean, he just knows how to put everything on screen, and I have no doubt he'll do it again with this film. So I just can't wait for this one, man. That is number 3, Flowers of the Killer Moon. Number 2 is going to be Creed 3. Now, I grew up watching the Rocky franchise all my life, and I love a good boxing movie, especially if it's the Rocky films. But after that, we got Creed and Creed 2, and I just thought they were great as well. So Creed 3 is definitely going to be high on this list. Now, I do have a few little concerns about what happened with Sylvester Stallone. It's like he's been shoved aside, and that is very unfortunate. Rocky and the world he's created with Rocky is his baby, but maybe the mantle does need to be taken over now. I don't know the full story, so I don't want to get into it too much, but I am excited to see what Michael B. Jordan can do in the director's chair here. Sylvester Stallone done it with a couple of the Rocky films, starred in it and directed, so let's hope that he can pull this off as well. Now, the story, going by the trailer, looks very, very interesting. And this is Jonathan Majors, who looks like he's going to be playing the villain in this film. He's an old friend of Adonis Creed, and Adonis Creed's got his own gym and stuff now. He's sort of living the high life. He's done it all. And this Jonathan Majors character looks like he comes to his gym after doing like a 20-year prison sentence, making up with Adonis Creed, and starts training in Adonis's gym. But it looks like he's getting a little bit out of line and going a little bit tough on people and being a bit of an arsehole, really. And you can just tell that it's going to end up with a big climactic fight between Adonis and this Jonathan Majors character. Really does look like he's recreating the story of Rocky V with Sylvester Stallone and Tommy Gunn there. But fear not, I do have full faith that this movie will do that a hell of a lot better. Jonathan Majors has got a big year ahead of him, and this is going to be one of his biggest roles. I think he's a wonderful actor. Can't wait to see him and Michael B. Jordan together in this film. So Creed 3, Really pumped for this one. It was meant to come out this year, but we're getting it next year, I believe in March. So yeah, early on. Can't wait for Creed 3. Hopefully it's as good as Creed 1 and 2. That is in second place. Number 1 though is going to be Mission Impossible Day of Reckoning Part 1. Or Mission Impossible 7, whatever you want to call it. I think this has been delayed for the past 2 years now. I think I've had this on my list in 2022 and 2021, but we are finally getting it in 2023. And Tom Cruise is at the top of his game right now after those Mission Impossible films he's made. Fallout and Rogue Nation, and now Maverick as well. Everyone absolutely loved Top Gun Maverick, so it's just gonna get bums in seats in the theaters for this, definitely. But Christopher McQuarrie is coming back to direct this one, who made those 2 Mission Impossible films, and I watched them for the first time a couple of years ago, and I have been hyped ever since. I thought they were definitely the best 2 of the franchise, even though the whole franchise is good. Those 2 films really did make me a bigger Mission Impossible fan, an actual Tom Cruise fan. I've never really cared for Tom Cruise that much, but now I just slap myself for that, because I've realised after watching them, Maverick and stuff, and a few more of his films, since watching them last 2 Mission Impossible films, I've given him a bit more of a chance that he is just a brilliant actor, and I absolutely can't wait to see him again in Mission Impossible Day of Reckoning Part 1. Christopher McQuarrie just knows how to do these action set pieces, doesn't he? Them 2 Mission Impossible films have just got some of the best action you have ever seen in any action movie ever, and I'm sure, going by the trailer and just the title alone, this will not disappoint in that department. So really glad he's taken on the mantle, and I'm of this one as well, and I'm hoping that they have a big story planned, because it's Part 1. It's going to be Part 1 of a 2-part movie. Some people may say they are just stretching that out to make more money, but I hope there's a big epic story planned to make these 2 movies come together. But I can't wait for more Mission Impossible. And yeah, like I said, Maverick's just gonna do this film a lot of favors, because people are gonna be itching to see Tom Cruise again. So it has to be Mission Impossible, man. I mean, them last 2 Mission Impossible films were a spectacle. They really were. And again, kind of like Scream, not a bad movie in this franchise, really. Part 1 is a little bit, but there isn't really a bad movie, and I'm sure that will continue with Mission Impossible 7. So that had to be my number 1. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. What are your most anticipated films of 2023? Do let me know down below. Is there any I missed out? Are you excited for any of my top 10 or my honourable mentions? Let me know down below, and I'll try and get back to you all. I promise. It'd be great to get a discussion going. Thanks so much guys, and if you want any more top 10 videos, they will be down below. Look out for my top 10 2022 movie list. I'm going to be ranking every movie I watched, my top 10 movies of the year, top 5 most surprising, top 5 most disappointing, all that to come at the end of the year. Thanks so much guys, take it all easy. I'll see you all next video.